Thank you so much, everyone. It's really great to be back here after 9 years. That time I was still in Nokia colors, so more blue. Now it's more yellow. We've been working together with the Telco on DevOps transformation, and this talk about actually our work together with the telecom provider, and we want to share with you the hassle and the background of this so-called multi-vendor DevOps challenge. So I think everything you do here, everything you standardize and deliver as open source or as commercial is, at the end of the day, kind of resulting in this story and helping us to run the telco business there. So I'm Szilard Szell, a Hungarian living in Finland.
Yeah, Szilard, it seems we are the first one paying two of us, so
yes.
Double the responsibility. So my name is Artur, I represent Telia, and to add, Szilard wants as an opening notes that we talked a lot about the technology transformation. What we would like to flavor it up also the further consequences of technology transformation on the organization, on the culture, on the way of working. And that's the aspect that would be focusing on in this presentation.
Yes. So we are from the Telco Cloud Infrastructure Organization, providing really the underlying Telco Cloud. But before going there, let me just tell a bit of the storyline, like what is this multi-vendor DevOps challenge? So if you look into the overall picture of different pipelines, different vendors, software or application providers delivering their software, and I would say even the NFT TST006, right? The DevOps, CI/CD DevOps report from Etsy. That was something where we already discussed this aspect, like how the software will end up from the vendor in the operator space. Now, there is a pipeline, obviously. It's called CI/CD pipeline or DevOps pipeline, whatever you name it. But if you look at from the operator point of view, you have a lot of them. You have a bit of a chaos there. You have one, you have two, you have zillion of these, and you end up with a chaos if you are not turning it around into something which is a central DevOps pipeline. So the point is that you connect your software vendors, and you have this trusted system deploying, checking. Now let me open up this flower because this might be not so obvious. Start with a simple DevOps pipeline, right? This is the simplistic view. I don't know if you are having DevOps or CI/CD at your company. Typically this is how they say, like there is development, some staging, and then we deploy to production. Yeah, as simple as that. Except when you have the other company, a vendor, on the left, right, and then your operator on the right, and then you need to combine even multiple vendors. So this is a little bit of this multi-vendor DevOps challenge and what we need to handle. So multiple stages on the developer side. I would even in between put the certification, right, that we have seen on many of the presentations. And then you deploy into laboratory, then you might test the VNF, you test the CNF, you certify it again in your infrastructure, then you move on to some system level testing, system integration, system of systems integration before you get to production. And let's add a little bit more flavor here. So what if you are working with different software pipelines in the different layers, different hardwares? So having the HP, the Cisco, and their firmware updates down there. Then you have the infrastructure software from the different cloud providers. And then you have even the XNF, the VNF, CNF on the top of it. So you see the complexity of this picture to see that how many things we need to handle. So this is what we call the multi-vendor DevOps challenge. And I think that all the open source development is really supporting and helping on this one. So in the DevOps transformation in Telia, we had a few layers.
So other than the technology transformation, which is obvious, and you all, basically our panelists and previous topics have been contributing on that, again, a big focus needs to be done also on the way of working alignment. How, as an organization and as an enterprise, we gather together to join our efforts in planning the work, planning our resources, understanding our capacity, understanding what we are able to deliver. And here are like various agile frameworks came into to help us. And also in this multi-vendor complex environment, it's now more than ever, it's important to deliver whatever we do, deliver in a good quality. The quality in security, quality in functionality. So reducing the cost of that quality comes with trying to identify those quality issues, security issues, as early as possible. And that's what also we try to incorporate into our pipeline. So there are 4 pillars that we are going further to go through in our presentation. And the number 1 pillar is the technology, of course. We talked about the transformation of technology. We talked about interoperability challenge. We talked about the need of interfaces, so to make communication between different components easy. We, at this stage, are using a proprietary solution in our platform, VMware Broadcom based, as you can see. And many of you mentioned about the need of a certification, need of a validation. So our vendors, like CNFs, should certify, should be validated against this particular platform, because the platform is a vendor-specific implementation of, let's say, Etsy interfaces. But that's not always happening. And hence, this is one of the reasons where we introduced the CI/CD pipeline in-house build to make sure that there is an interoperability between our vendors, representing the applications, and between the platform. And our CNFs, being vendor-specific and not necessarily in-house built, not necessarily always also have tools which help us to make sure that their releases are secure, their releases are free of vulnerability, and there is a proper functional and non-functional testing, and so on and so forth. So within the framework of the CI/CD pipeline that within our organization we build, we offer that as a service to make sure as early as possible we identify the security issues, functional, non-functional issues before actually the application can be onboarded into the platform. And also creating that interoperability possibility for them in case if they are not certified. But of course, as an operator, we would like the applications to be certified for the platform.
And technology is not only the one pillar, as we said. Yes, this is a challenge on its own. The other challenge is really the way of working. So DevOps is not only technology and automation, right? There's the CALMS model where C is for culture. It's a different way of working in a different aspect. Now, giant organizations like the telcos typically are, need to find a way what is the operating system of their organization. Now, Scaled Agile Framework, SAFe is one of them. Who knows SAFe here? Who has ever heard about that? Only a few people. Okay, so this is a agile scaling framework. This is an agile software development framework, which is just to scale it up to hundreds and thousands of people. You see just the picture how difficult it is. So just scaling it up is already a big hassle. Telia has decided many years ago to go with the SAFe model. So even the business-oriented, business-facing, or the end-user-facing organizations, but also this platform organization, is using the Scaled Agile Framework as a normal day-to-day way of working. On the other hand, they have the very strong service management orientation, not exactly ITIL-ish, but this means that, of course, they provide services, so you need to operate the services. So why this is important? These are like two frameworks that you need to align. How do we align that? And especially in the platform team, where people are responsible, have a 24/7 responsibility to operate the platform, right? Incident management, troubleshooting, problem management, etc. On the other hand, there are the tenants or the business-to-business facing organizations who are providing value for the end users, like 5G, like slicing, like the different applications on top, right? These two organizations need to work together. They need to have an alignment, a cadence of planning, road mapping, etc., synchronization points. But also within the organization, you need to combine the internal development of the mentioned CI/CD pipeline and other automations with the day-to-day operational tasks. So this was quite of a big challenge. We can talk about that during the break as well, how we handled that. The other aspect is the CI/CD pipeline, as it was mentioned by Artur itself, and how to actually build quality assurance into the pipeline. All the phases, starting with, for example, a CNF integrity checking, vulnerability scanning, Helm version validation, etc., and then going through creating automatically a Kubernetes cluster, checking that the cluster was correctly deployed, then taking the CNF, now the scanned CNF, the artifact from the Artifactory, do a deployment of it, a quick health check, quick smoke testing, and then saying like now the CNF is ready for a larger laboratory testing, which we hope is automated based on the testing that was delivered as part of the CSAR files, right? Because that's how ETSI defined a VNF, that the testing is part of it, right? I have never seen it happening yet, but I wish still foreseeing that the VNF is coming with the test cases. Anyway, test needs to be part, a lot of VNF, CNF specific testing, and then of course a larger level solution testing before you can state that this CNF, VNF can go into production. So this is developed by kind of combining a test strategy into the pipeline, heavy test automation, relying on different tools, robot framework mainly, again open source tooling. And this is important for the success of building the multi-vendor.
If you allow me, like bringing security by design, yes, testing by design into the pipeline. And this is all which is dictated by the DevOps principles and taken by the software development lifecycle into an infrastructure, into a platform lifecycle processes. So this whole thing, when we have a software moving more in the future, being decoupled from the hardware, push us to have a different software lifecycle attitude and processes than we had with the hardware, as the lifespan of a software nowadays is much shorter than a lifespan of the hardware. As an example, Kubernetes has quarterly releases. Prometheus, we saw like in the demo rooms used in the slicing and so on, is being 3, 4, 5 week releases. And we need to make sure that our vendors comply with this life cycle and ourselves, and make sure the quality and security is inbuilt through the delivery.
Moving on, some of the achievements within the DevOps transformation itself. So we already see that there's a much better frequent alignment between the business area and the platform organization, the cloud organization, through going with the framework. Improved planning, you would say obvious, but honestly when now you see clearly your capacity and you don't overplan the people, that means that your deliverables are also much better. Quality improvement through the shift left, through building in, designing in, testing and security. Continuous improvement mindset, especially in operations. Now there's a large development team next to operations, and they develop for operations. They do automation to help the day-to-day job of the operations team, which is, I believe, is one of the biggest achievement here. Yep, common pipeline, automation, streamlined processes are also on the achievements. And maybe a few statements from us, like personal achievements.
Maybe I would say also on the lesson learned point of view, when implementing an agile framework like a SAFe, it is really important to put a dedicated time for very important roles such as the product manager, product owner, and so on and so forth. When you pull up the people from line organizations to take those roles, there are a lot of conflict of interests, and that would actually affect on the adoption of the agile and being agile, creating parallel pipelines for the delivery of the work.
And I work as the quality assurance lead in the organization and also a SAFe coach. And it's extremely important to understand the domain itself. What are the quality issues, the problems, and how to build them into all the roles, how the product managers work, how the product owners work, but also setting this common understanding of, for example, non-functional requirements and how to handle them, like how to take security to the left and all these kind of, for example, robustness issues to the left, how to design that. As a summary, I think the technology transformation, as we said, we really need a very close cooperation of all the multiple players, so the network cloud providers, the application providers, and then also coaches with the support of leadership.
Yes, I think
Yep.
we're done.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.